Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first suit of impeccable wisdom. Let's discuss what Yama, the 5 virtues of integrity, and the first stage of Akhand Yoga. This is Akhand Yoga, the rising of soul consciousness from self right up to Sahasrara Chakra. Now, my genuine statements have been for impeccable wisdom, we need perfect wisdom. For perfect wisdom, we need perfect knowledge. For perfect knowledge, we need perfect theory. For perfect theory, we need a perfect experience. Unless until we experience the universal consciousness within ourselves, we cannot talk of impeccable wisdom. Copying others from the books and other things is not at all wisdom. Data, information, knowledge can give you the information, but impeccable wisdom has to be experienced and then converted into perfect theory, then research and bring out the spiritual science one and large. And that is the only person who can talk of impeccable wisdom for the good of everybody. Copying and just giving what likes and dislike is definitely not perfect at all. So my first genuine questions are, does anyone know the Patanjali Sutra? Because we are talking about Akhand Yoga. Has anyone experienced Patanjali Yoga itself? That itself is a big question mark. And I am making it very clear. Maharishi Patanjali Yoga Sutra was written 3000 years ago. He was a genuine exponent of yoga itself. And I am very sorry to say that nobody really understands the Sanskrit scriptures of Patanjali the way he has written it and done research accordingly. We have been just taking parts and bits and talking to the world and confusing the world about yoga itself. And I am very clear on that part. The first question which comes up, Patanjali says, is Atha Yoga Anusashan. Now start the exposition of yoga discipline is the first statement which I agree. But the statement is yogas chitta vritti nirodh. Stop the fluctuation mind, and yogi have already made it clear in the last one. Stopping the fluctuation of the mind is right. But you can stop with many drugs and many things, accident, birth defects and other things. Such a person cannot be a yogi. And I make it very clear. Yogis are not in which the mind is not working. The person in whom the mind is very potent, senses are very perfect, intelligence is super, intuition is fantastic. Only that person is a yogi. He is in tune with universal consciousness, and that's it. Then third statement is, after experiencing the stopping the fluctuation mind, then only true self comes. What it is mean, I don't think anybody has explained. That is only when with your inner Atma, the indwelling soul, comes up. And once you as an individual are in tune with the universal consciousness within your body of maybe Aditi, Antaratma or Kundalini, and that combination which is Advait philosophy can make a person very honest and reach the impeccable wisdom. That's what is Patanjali talking about. Then comes to Vritti Swarupa Itra. Then he says all the fluctuation minds are other state, they are the problem for all the psychosomatic disorders. So perfection is important. Anything which is not perfect, mind is fluctuating with left and right and this and that, is not at all. Maybe that's the reason Patanjali talks of Samadhi, even state of the mind. Once you have the even state of the mind, only then you go to the Antaratma level. But what is even state of mind? Other thing we are going to explain to do one by one, so that there is all the confusion of fluctuation of the mind is removed, not with the drugs, not with the activities which are unnatural and undivining. Now comes to question fifth. There are 5 different kinds of kaleshas which arise because of fluctuation of the mind. And I will be talking about these people along with when I talk about Patanjali Yoga Sutra and Akhand Sutra as such. We'll take it up one by one. Now comes the question, is the whole Patanjali Yoga Sutra divided into 4 components. And the component is the Samadhi Pada. The section defines yoga and Samadhi and explains different parts of the mind their modification, manifestation, remedial methods, which Patanjali talks about. Please read that book for that. But I will talking to you as I will move step by step over the applied psychosomatic disorders. Sadhana is the practice part, the passive and active parts which actually are required. Without a passive and active together, karma yoga, Gyan Yoga, Vigyan Yoga, Pragyan Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, everything, you cannot go to the next stage. Third is Vibhuti Pada. The section describes the rewards and process of yoga and samadhi. What are the benefits you are going to get by following Yoga Sutra is also explained very well in third section. Fourth is Kaivalya Pada. The section highlights the ultimate state of supreme state of being. What exactly you are going to see when you come to the yoga state is explained in the fourth thing, and it is called prajna, that means impeccable wisdom. So Patanjali said, Ashtanga Yoga said this will take you to Patanjali Yoga Sutra, but has anybody revealed what Patanjali talks about it? But I talk about Ashtanga Yoga, which goes Kundalini Yoga and Antar Yoga as a step, and taken it to mathematical design, which was not done by any of the book to this level before. Veds and Upanishad talk of the divine mathematics, but not to Divyank level. And how did I go to Divyank level? Using Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Satchakra Nirupana, Ved, Upanishad and scriptures, and then experienced within me and translated that into data, information, knowledge and wisdom step by step to come to realize the union with myself, union with divinity, union with whole thing, and then come to give the world Divyank step by step over 60 years of tapasya. Now come to the question which I talk about very clearly. My spiritual science wisdom reveals that I should have a perfect physical health. No compromise in physical health, no falling sick. That is not health. Diseases are not health. Needing medicine is not health. You should take care of physical health with good food itself, and that's one part is very clear. Second, we have emotional health. I should not have anything against likes and dislikes, should not be there. I should have only perfect love for everyone, respect everybody irrespective whatever they are. Then I should have a perfect mental health, social health, religious health, and feel with one with the entire world with a compassion as such. Then perfect education and wisdom of all the 64 arts and sciences, whether it's divine mathematics, physics, chemistry, medical sciences or other art forms, should be perfection to the core, not in one difficulty. Then adequate abundance of prosperity is required. You are dead without money, but money should be used optimally, but not be bonded with money. You have come with no money, you go with no money. The money should be used for the benefit of yourself and everyone around, and have the priority very clear. Your first priority to yourself, second priority to your family, your wife, parents, children, and then slowly one by one you extend to the world, not to the world at the expense of your own close relative, parents, wife and children itself. And that priority should also be clear. You should have priority very spread, the people who look up to you straight away, like your wife, children, your parents, they should be the first priority, and then go to the external world, and then go and giving to each and everyone as such. That is the prosperity. Then science of sharing money and wisdom also has to be understood, and you make do karma yoga, do work, gyan, make money and use it for research and sharing for the world for the benefit of everybody at the end. इससे विद्या ददाति विनयम विनयात याति पात्रताम पात्रताम च धनम च धर्म च सुखम. If you want the world to be perfect, you should have a perfect education. That is what spiritual science is all about. And we should take care of every mineral, every plant, every animal, every human being, everyone in the universe should be well taken care of. That is my spiritual science wisdom as such. Then come to the Akhand Yoga. I have modified the concept little differently. Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodh is what Patanjali is talking about. I have no problem. But instead of Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodh, I have written Chitta Vritti Nirodh. Same three things I have taken. Stop the fluctuation of mind. Chetana Satabhu. When you stop the fluctuation of mind, your awareness comes, your Antaratma comes. Make optimum use of your Antaratma senses, everything. And then lead to the Akhand Yoga. That is what Akhand Yoga is. Chit Vritti Nirodh, Chetana Sat Upyog, Iti Akhand Yoga. That means impeccable vision, stop the fluctuation of mind. Killing of the mind is not Akhand Yoga, I make it very clear. Mind is a powerful instrument. And this is what helps you, your Kundalini, your Antaratma, Aditi, to go to the place where your mind goes, where your thoughts go, where your actions go. And if thoughts and action, everything is perfect, then you become a perfect. If you are truthful, honest, otherwise, only that's the way you become a perfect human being, otherwise not at all possible. Then optimum utilization, mind is Akhand Yoga. It's not to kill this with the drugs or anything for that matter. You should have very powerful to see anything and everything. You should know the beauty of that. And that is the power of the mind. Mind can do wonders in the world. It's a very powerful instrument. And use the instrument, don't kill it. That's my point. Make optimum utilization is again soul, which has come from universal consciousness, knows everything about universal consciousness. Get the answer from that as a voice of silence. And then you reach a very high level of consciousness. That's it. And this is what is called enlightening foundation wisdom of Akhand Yoga. The senses, mind, intelligence, intuition are divine. Not even one thing is a defect. Don't kill senses, don't kill mind, don't kill intelligence or buddhi, intuition or universal consciousness. Keep all that, only then you can become Akhand Yogi, otherwise not at all possible. Then come to the question of 10 stages of Akhand Yoga, which first 8 Ashtang is Yama, Niyam, Yogasana, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi. 8 stages. I have stuck to the same thing which Patanjali talks about it. I'll give my own explanations as such as we move on. Chakral Yoga is based on Kundalini Yoga. Antar is taking Antaratma into the ventricles of the brain and also descent of Mahashakti. So Jivatma, Antaratma and Paramatma all becoming one. And once that happens, only then Akhand Yoga is all about. I have already spoken about Kundalini, Chakras, Aditi, higher consciousness completely. Now we are going to talk about the practical aspect of Akhand Yoga with Ashtang Yoga as the foundation meditation. And I'm stick to the principles of Patanjali itself because I do feel it's the best document on the earth. Now come to the question of Yama, the first stage of Akhand Yoga. The 5 virtues are, here I have changed the concept. Patanjali talks of Ahimsa first, but I have brought Satya first. I do believe when you passing on Satya, only then things can happen. Ahimsa can be a second one. And third is Asatya, non-theft. Brahmachar, and I don't call it Brahmachari. I call Brahmachar great character of the person who's perfect in every way. Apigraha, non-acquisitiveness of things is these are 5. I'm going to talk about it with my experience from my childhood till today, how I have followed them step by step, what I found interesting to share with primarily a very core subject, not in detail. Now come to the greatest prayer which I do recognize is given by Maharishi Yajnavalkya itself. Astoma Sadgamya. Please lead me from untruth to the truth. That should be the prayer of everyone. Don't stick to the untruths, which is not perfect, which you cannot experience, which is not perfect in anything, should not be adhered to. You should have only truth, truth and truth. Satyameva Jayate. That's it. And this is where I see myself and I see the light coming out of me. Tamso ma jyotirgamya, mrityu ma amritgamya. And these are other, but first thing, let us say, take me from untruth to this, darkness to light, death to immortality, and imperfection to perfection is Khandoma Akhandgamya, which is again my concept added to Maharishi Patanjali's 3 statements. Now come to let's understand the thing very clearly. Satya. What are the different scriptures talk about? Mahanarayani Upanishad says truth is always excellent. A yogi who unites with the universal consciousness with truth never falls in life. And I make it very clear. I have never fallen in life. I have never had any difficulty. I have the excellent education, profession and profile otherwise. Because my strength is only in truth, truth and nothing other than that. Come what may. My brain remembers only what I have experienced honestly with all the excellence, not anything which is not there. I don't even talk about it. Mundaka Upanishad takes Satyameva Jayate, truth always wins. Everything else has no place. If you are truthful, only then you can be successful. If you are not truthful, you can never be successful. Satchit Anand, anyone whose consciousness is always truthful, will always have eternal, immortal blissfulness. So that is this. Then Satya Vijnanam Anantam. Any truthful knowledge, Gyan, Vigyan, Pragyan, Akhandata is eternal. It will always remain. So if you are a truth honest person and have Gyan, Vigyan, Pragyan, Akhandata, you will reach the infinity in your own self, maybe for the first time because of truth being my base. And then Gyan, Vigyan, Pragyan, Akhandata has taken me to infinity for the first time in the history of mankind. And I make it. Infinity constant is 61.8034 only. Anything else is not complete. You can only presume, but this is a perfect. And that is the truth. Then Satyam Shivam Sundaram. A genuine truthful person is always good looking person, perfect person. So Satyam, Shivam is again a beautiful person, Sundaram is beautiful. So if we are a truthful person, you become like Lord Shiva's perfection by and large. Then Om Tat Sat. And the most beautiful thing is ultimately if you realize the beauty of Om, Omkara, Akara, Yukara, Makara and Turiya, all the four stages within yourself. And that is a symbol which I had made in 1974, which is more than 51 years ago. And I think speaks volume. When you reach that level, then only you are truthful by and large. Then omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, all presence, universal truth is known to you through Om itself. So these are the things which talk about Satyam as such. And once you are in Satyam, only then you can lead the life perfectly. Anything else is subsequent. The foundation has to be untruth to truth alone. In the process, I am giving the picture of Government of India's symbol. Itself is taking Satyameva Jayate. And I think that is what has to be a process for every government, every individual to pass. And I am glad Government of India talks only Satyameva Jayate, nothing other than that. Then comes to Satyam Shivam Sundar. You see Lord Shiva in Himalayas, but beautiful, perfect, giving all the wisdom to this. Maybe this is Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh all put together in this stage, and that is what is real beauty, how you can be a fantastic person in the entire world. Then these are statements we gain Om Tat Sat, Sat Chit Anand, Sat Jnanam, etc., which I have already spoken about. Now come to the second statement, Ahimsa. I am going to talk about non-violence in detail, what I understand and experience. Violence can be manifested as the following 6 state levels. First is the physical violence. Violence with all the nature is completely condemned. Anybody hitting anybody with the hands, legs or otherwise is not at all. Even the corporal punishment, anything for education, home and otherwise, in my opinion, is not at all acceptable. I have never beaten anybody. I will never beat anybody. I would explain things to them through understanding, not through the physical violence. It's the first thing. Second thing, emotional violence is also being used by many people. Yet try to bring them into listen certain things which are not at all required. I see in every family emotional violence is a pathetic, and that becomes untruthful and making the things very, very bad. Physical violence bad, emotional blackmailing is also bad. Then psychic violence, lower tantrics and black magicians are equally condemnable because they are using psychic energies to deprive people of their energy. I don't believe that either. You believe your perfect life and don't get involved with anybody indirectly or indirectly. You are born alone, you live alone, you die alone. You do your work truthfully, honestly, with non-violent other things, and don't worry about others. If they are bad, they will pay a price for it. Then verbal violence is equally problem because we have intentionally abused unfounded criticism is more dangerous. When I say that education system is thing, it is not criticizing people for without any fault, because we are only teaching something from maths, physics, chemistry, the medical science, to all the subjects with so many defects. As a result, the world is having problem. That is allowed, but not otherwise. Then mental violence is the worst of the affected person does not even know the reasons of projected violence. People are trying to use the mind power to criticize and things like that, and that violence is equally bad, not at all acceptable. Then criticism, there are people who keep blaming everyone for their own failures, that they don't want to take into that. If they have failed, they have failed because of themselves, not because of somebody else. When I look at myself, I've been very successful, academically excellent, exemplary from school, college, university till today. Nobody has, but I do not, I have never complained anybody because I am not allowed. I have done things when people are criticizing, stopping me, I move out and do something different. There are so seek for art. You don't have to worry about some idiots trying to criticize you as such. So from that point of view, I do feel if you are born with truth, non-violence, perfection, you will continue to achieve success one by one without anybody even stopping you from anything. And if you are a perfect, nobody can touch you. That's it. Then comes Ahimsa Parmo Dharma. I make this statement very clear. This is statement from Jainism. This is their only statement which goes. And I do think Ahimsa, non-violence, is the first dharma. When I talk about that Yoga Sutra, for that matter, are Ayurveda, Purusharth. It is Dharma, Earth, Kam, Moksha. That means everything has to be Dharma. It has to be truthful, honest. And Niti should also be according to that, and enjoyment also be within Dharma, and that is truthful. And once that is the first Dharma. So no wonder Patanjali called Ahimsa as a Parmo Dharma, but I believe Satya is a Parma Dharma. Ahimsa is the second one. Then comes to the third statement, Asteya, non-covetousness. Asteya means non-stealing and non-cheating. The following is the prime objectives. Number, property. Stealing or grabbing the property of other person is the grossest form. Now, when I look at myself, I do recognize all the problems of the world are because of property, money, women and other things. It is a well-known statement. And anybody who's bonded with property, bonded with money, bonded with anything would suffer in the process. When I look at myself, the property which was given by my parents to me, I did not even claim that. I gave, let my brothers and sisters, whosoever it is, whosoever is sitting in that property, let them enjoy the benefit. I do not even want that, because I come with no land, I go with nowhere. Let wherever I go, I'll find my prosperity, my land, my building, other things, the way it is required for me. I'm use it and leave it at that. So property is something we should not be stealing from anyone, even if it is yours. Don't worry about it. If somebody is finding useful, let them have it. Then Robin Hood is the one statement which has been so many movies and books. Stealing from rich and giving it to poor people is equally defective cheating. And I will. Rich people have also gained the money through hard work. Not every rich is based on untruthfulness. And I can tell you from myself, I have been an industrialist, I have been a doctor, I have been rich, but everything was honestly paying all the income tax, everything properly, taking care of everything. You can be very honest, rich person also at the same time. Had I not been rich in money and otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to do the kind of research which I did, the kind of publication I've done, the kind of life I've lived. It's only because of money. Not earn your own money through your karma yoga, jnana yoga, vigyan yoga, pragyan yoga, and your in a very honest way. You don't grab up somebody, that is something. And grabbing and taking somebody and giving it to it, and you are taking from rich and giving it to poor, is also not acceptable to me. Then affection, showing affection on people in need is acceptable. Showing affection on people hurting others is highly defective. You should have the constraint to know the difference between right and wrong. So truth becomes important. Anybody who is truthful and you are sure about it, and they don't be having rag and dvesh for anybody, but virag is acceptable. This is again what Patanjali also talks about. Rag and dvesh, affection and bonding is not acceptable, but respecting the people who are honest, truthful is something which is required. Then now we have come to the stage of plagiarism or the whole copying business. To take some others' ideas, words and research is a pretty bad idea. You should only get the idea, do your own research and then present it the way you want. Plagiarism or copying others and shiving and taking credit for that is not at excel. I am glad that over a period this particular plagiarism has come to play. And let me tell you, my first document for which was been given to the university for my PhD work in 2001, I had put into plagiarism to find commonality, and it was zero. That means not even one word, 1% word was common with anybody else. Can you imagine a PhD thesis, highly commendable, internationally accepted by the Americans and everybody, does not have 1% similarity? And that is, my books do not have. And in similarity, I continue to have the 100% original words. I use my own words and explain things the way I want it. And that is how it should be. Have your original experience, good research, and do something which is never done. So once you are the Devyank is like my research is like my everything. Nobody cannot copy even whatever I put. Nobody, and that becomes statement, and copying others will not be allowed as such. That's one. They come to the research part. Review of literature on the given subject and then cutting and pasting into research document with acknowledgement is called research methodology, is acceptable. But taking credit that it is yours, not somebody else's, is not. In my PhD research work or otherwise, I don't even give a reference because I don't use other statements. I only give what I understand and leave it behind that. So in the other person, Asteya, what comes to the same, you should not steal anything from somebody. You should not take credit for something else. Stick to that. And I can tell you from my experience, people have tried to hijack things from my products and then taken things prematurely. What has happened? They only lost in the process. Whereas I gone on to move higher and higher level. Past is present. You move on. So things improve over a period. You become much and more thing. So that's where it comes. Do not steal. Do not take, because these are perishable things. They will not go with you from Janma to Janma. And truth will continue, non-violence will continue, perfection will continue, integrity will continue, honesty will continue, your intentions will continue. That is the third statement. Then come to the question of Brahmacharya. And I make one thing very clearly, Brahmacharya as written is called celibacy, by everybody is talking about, but I do call it only Brahmachar. Acharya I don't call it. Brahma means great. Achar is the character. Great person is that, and that is celibacy. Not necessary that you have something to do with sexuality at all. And I make with the continence means control of sex. It does not mean abstinence of sexuality. It means continuous and fair moderation. There is a divine plan for every person. Sexual energy is to produce a new generation. Sexual energy is meant for intelligence. Sexual energy is meant for muscle power. Sexual energy is required for extra red blood. Conversion of ojas into intelligence, tejas is required. Extra virya is essential for physical health. adequate ojas, tejas, virtues are essential for adequate physical, emotional, mental and spiritual integration within every human being. On being established in sexual continence, we can gain vigor, vitality, intelligence, intuition, spiritual evolution, and that exactly is the center of Brahmachar. That exactly is Swadhisthana Chakra. And once Swadhisthana Chakra is there, when you wake up, you go there. And it is a testosterone, it's a muscles, intelligence, everything has that. And how you use the testosterone for spiritual evolution, for physical health, wealth, wisdom, happiness is what Brahmachar is, not anything to do with sexuality at all. And I think once that is understood, you are a perfect human being trying to move on to the higher stage with a great character who understands the importance of testosterone, estrogen, intelligence, otherwise for complete physical health, wealth, wisdom and happiness. So that way the fourth Brahmachar is very, very essential. Now come to the ancestor. I make it very clear. There are three rins. One is a Bhumi rin. Whatever we are getting from earth, we should play back to the earth by and large. That means plant, trees, everything, keep the earth element completely pure. Second is ancestral debt, rin, pitra rin. It's a divine precaution. So getting married, having children is a must concept. And I do not believe somebody who does not want to get married, who does not want to have children, who is not doing things at all. So I make sure, be a perfect human being, get married, have a family, have a children. You have come from this and leave behind intelligent children with perfection of Akhand Yoga itself. You are giving the world the wisdom, not a liability to this. Do not produce bastards, do not produce anything like that. And I think that is what ancestral thing. And we are now passing through that Pitra Rin itself. Now come to the fifth part is Apigraha, non-acquisitiveness. This is most important part in anyone's life. I am glad that Maharishi Patanjali spoke about Apigraha as the fifth in Yama itself. Acquisitiveness means acquiring wealth. Apigraha means not acquiring extra wealth. The following are the important concepts which let me explain in my own experience. Materialism is focus and prime, and I make it very clear. Poverty is not a sin, but without money you can't even do anything. So don't run away from materialism. That is an untouchable thing. But as far as I'm concerned, money is important. I've done wonderfully well because I'm rich. I have the money. I can use it for books, research, publication, other things. I use it for each and every one, for the entire world. I think that is what materialism is important. I am not a communist. I am an outright corporate who earns money honestly and use it for the good of self, my workers, my family and the world by and large. So materialism is absolutely essential. That's it. Austerity. It means simple, specific, strict, moral, ethical, saving and striving concepts. You should follow that. There should be truth in everything. There should be simplicity. And there should be moral, ethical values and doing things for the good of everybody. That is what Sanatana Dharma talks about, Vasudev Kutumbam. We are here as a Lokpalan for the good of everybody, not as someone who is depriving others of their thing. And tapasya, by and large, should be to make you perfect, rich, and then share with the world as such. I still remember from my childhood till today, my household was called Ashray. Anybody and everybody need can come, stay, eat food and be happy with it. Nobody becomes poor by helping poor people to have breakfast, lunch and dinner and give shelter within your own means. It makes you a good human being. And I have always done, I continue to do that, I will always do. My house is ashram and it is there for use people, but let also people not be liable. When the people come, I make them disciplined people and contribute in the process. They get part in the work of the whole thing and they learn things through systematically, and that is a part of austerity. Then as I told you, Vairagya again, I am talking about Patanjali again. Non-possessiveness. It does not mean that people should not possess wealth and should not have things. And Vairagya, I mean no rag, no dvesh, no attachment, no detection. But people who are doing good work appreciate and move on. I think that is Vairagya. Then Tyag, renunciation. True spiritual person is never obsessed with possessing wealth. He there gets money, he earns money, he shares with the love of a good work, not to create liability people. I would not give it to the people who want to sleep, eat and sleep. Yeah, give to people who would use the money for business, work and get things to do. जोत से जोत जगाओ ताकि world become, and that is the त्याग. You have got it, use it, but give it to the people who value it, who work it, increase it, and don't give it to the liable, lazy characters by and large. I think I've done. I've not allowed even one person to be with me who makes use and is a lazy. He has to become like me, get up at 3:30, work like systematic, and be a part of the whole work as such. Nobody gets anything free. You have to work, and that is a tyag. Then Apigraha has that a complete non-acquisitive money is normally possessed by gypsies. But I do believe you should use the money to the way it's required. If you are rich, you can provide and give more atmosphere to the industry, other thing. Have a perfect corporate sector. Treat every worker as a part of your family and give them the money required and they become part. Only then you understand Apigraha's meaning as such. Then total generation of material wealth, gods in different aspects are not to go about their work without possessing. As Maharishi Yajnavalkya talked about Surya as the Guru, and I also taught Surya. Surya gives everything, give and give. सरस्वती के भंडार में बड़ी अपूर्व उत्पाद जू जू खर्चे त्यों त्यों बड़े बिन खर्चे घटियात. Once you do that and you work that, and only then you become a akhand yogi, otherwise not at all possible. And with these principles is what Patanjali talks about it. I have just explained that in my own life. Then I am a living example of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Although first time I read Patanjali Yoga Sutra was only 1992, which is almost 4 decades of my life. And only because coincidentally after Kundalini Yoga and understanding Tantra, Chakra, Nadis and other things, I realized there's so much of wisdom in India. But nobody understands, and I think having understood, I'm explaining that. I think this should be enough for the time being as far as Yamas are concerned. So I go by truth, non-violence, Brahmachar, non-acquisitiveness, and sharing with love of it. Once that is done, I think you become a perfect human being. Then you are ready to go to the next stage of Niyam, the disciplines. So that way Patanjali's description is very good. Even kleshas are being explained, and I can tell you no klesha will touch a person who's honest, truthful, integrated, and working class, good karam yoga, good bhakti yoga, good gyan yoga, good thing. Then nothing can go wrong against anybody. You will have no complaint against anybody. And that is what Yam is all about. This is a foundation for every human being to become perfect and then do things for the love for everybody, just for the love of it, not your own self. You come with nothing, you go with nothing, everything. So these are the things given to you to be utilized to become perfect human. This is a test for your integrity, whether you have learned, earned and shared. If learned and not shared is not at all human quality. I still see in teachers, no, this is my concept, this is my concept. No, it's all divine concept. More you learn, more you share, just love of it. Don't make money as an institution. Money comes, use it. If money is not there, don't worry about it. Then come to the last part. I don't think I need to talk about it. I think if anybody who understands this Yama is ready for discipline, Niyam the next one. So thank you very much.